Nick! Nick!
Nick! Nick!
I want to take a bath.
Nick! I've been accused of murder again!
All I was doing was taking a bath.
For fuck's sake, Maya. Welcome back to Side by Side Plays. We're not playing as Maya, because Maya's a terrible lawyer. But anyway, this is the day we find out that this guy, this Italian reporter in Japan is completely innocent. Oh yes, I stabbed the English woman. And that's the very fact that proves I'm innocent. I'm gonna take literally the first line we do today. Oh, off to a good start we are. Because why would I have a mother to stab the woman if I'd already poisoned her? When I heard the student girl and a pompous English woman arguing, it got to my goat. They stole my goat. So instead of murdering her, I was gonna just stab her, you know. In a non-lethal way. You're not wearing clothes.
No, I'm in a bath. Do you wear clothes in your bath?
No, but I don't wear, moss either.
Well, I'm a siren. I live in the sea. Do you see my gills? Oh, wait.
I can't look away from your titties, Kristen.
Okay.
If the gods weren't gonna punish Brett for what she did, someone else would have to see justice done. I become the Batman. So you admitted then that everything happened as I described. That you are the one who stabbed Miss Brett in the back through the read screen. You can blame this miserable country of ours. A country that bows to the pressures of foreign powers and lets murderers walk free. What kind of future can a country like that have? That's why I did it. I did what other pathetic leaders didn't have the guts to do. Slap bang in the middle of that charming lady's back. I plunged the blade of sweet justice right in there. Yeah, just complete nudity. I'm sorry, did you just admit to stabbing in a courtroom? Seriously? As someone who spends his life seeing that the truth is told, I feel really, really awful about giving false info in my testimony before. But as it turns out, Minimemo is not a murderer. There was somebody else who had the info the victim and got to her before me. That's alright, you guessed it! That pretty little student girl. Now there's a woman after my own heart. You're implicating Ray again? She's the one who gave the poison to the English woman and ended her pitiful existence.
Oh my god. Brush teeth. Let's get to this. Mouthwash.
And suddenly, snap! This journal here is off the hook.
The argument is sound, certainly. If the witness had administered the poison himself, you need only have waited for it to take effect. Subsequently, stabbing the victim in the back would have been entirely nonsensical.
And yet here we are! Therefore, this reporter had nothing to do with the poisoning.
Of Cusco. I love you so much.
Yes, it's all quite logical. That's alright. Logical and true. I'm glad you've all seen the light. It's a minimalism. Justice at last. I am not guilty because stabbing isn't a crime. After I've made so much progress in proving his guilt, is he gonna get away with it now? After all, stabbing someone isn't illegal. Holy shit, what kind of world do we live in? Think of Kazuma-sama, and Naruhodo-san, and Kusuke-kun. Cusco-kun. They never stopped looking for a way forward until the judge's final gavel.
This is my final gavel.
Shit!
Proceed then, counsel. Proceed with what I assume to be your final cross-examination in this trial.
Holy shit, it would have been embarrassing if this was the last thing we did. Because we, stopped right before this. It'd be quite silly if we literally stopped recording right before the final cross-examination. Oh yeah! That's a crime. You committed a crime. Ha! The very existence of women offended my sense of justice. What? Are you the Supreme Court now? She was a pure evil, a cold-blooded killer who'd committed murder right here on our Empire soil. You see, I don't want to take another screenshot of this, because honestly, he's had so many things to say that are just relevant to our today's justice system. But holy shit, you could just have the screen cap and be the opinion of the US Supreme Court right now about women just existing. But did our good-for-nothing government do anything? Not a chance, so I had to step in. Alright. I'm taking a capture of that one. Fly the flag of justice. Put things right for the people. Yes, it was my civic duty. That's what drove me to do it. So, in summary, murderous intentions then. Whatever you want to call it, point is this. That English woman was a blight, so I had to do what was right. We live in a society. Yet a real wrong was done by the student girl in the dock. A crime for which she must pay. Obviously, because the poisoners was nothing to do with me at all.
Oh yeah, I stole the gold claw.
And was that someone else you, Minamemo-san? No comment. Sorry? It was the accused who sent the English woman to hell. I just waved her off, that's all. Bye-bye. Alrighty, yes, I got my hands a little dirty in the process, it's true. But you listen to me! Minamemo-san. My blade was restless at the injustice of it all. The woman got what she deserved. I say we should applaud the young student girl for having the courage to rid the world of that menace. Come on, everybody, clap your hands. Oh, yes, oh, very good. Aha!
Bang.
It hasn't been proven that the defendant did anything of the sort. Ha! Sorry about that. Slip of the tongue.
Coffin. Sleep in a coffin.
Person. Coffins are not for sleeping.
If the victim had unwittingly taken the poison already, the reporter would have no reason to stab her. On the face of it, that logic sounds entirely reasonable.
But there's no question that this man was responsible for Miss Brett's murder.
Are you sure about that? If we could think of a plausible explanation as to why he might have stabbed her even after the poisoning, I feel sure that everything would drop into place. That's what we should be looking for.
Yes, I agree. And in order to do that, I must try to glean more information. So you still maintain that you didn't give the poison to the victim? Obviously, that'd be like putting a belt on your trousers when you are already wearing braces like these. Otherwise known as The Square Enix effect.
What? The accused administered the poison, following which the witness stabbed the victim. An unforgivable act, certainly, but not one of murder.
Yep. That's where I'm going with.
That is how the law works, you see, Yoko. Who knows? You may even learn something here today.
Is Ryotaro the only judicial assistant that hasn't been... Or, not Ryotaro, fucking Susato. Is Susato the only legal assistant that hasn't been accused of murder?
I think so.
So far. I like how your fucking potion description is so small.
Well, because there's so much. Prices are 250% better, restores 69 points of health, restores 69 stamina, carrying capacity increases by 169 for 120 seconds, drains the target stamina 10 points for 180 seconds. Opponents in melee range take 8 points of fire damage per second. Target of fire takes extra damage. Alteration spells last 30% longer for 90 seconds. Equipped weapons swing faster for 90 seconds.
And all in a square area of like 2 inches wide by 1 inch tall.
Mm-hmm.
Ridiculously small.
2 consecutive attempts on her life in the space of minutes. What a day for the victim.
Well, technically speaking, it wasn't a complete day. So, don't feel too bad. Do something evil, and you got it coming. That's how the law works. The law of reckoning. That's not the kind of law this court upholds.
You will reiterate why you were compelled to stab the victim then, witness.
I wanted to get one more penetration in. That's gross. What exactly were they arguing about? About what happened in that restaurant 9 months ago, that's what. The student girl was laying into the English woman for killing her beloved mentor, Dr. Wilson.
Yes, John H. Wilson. A professor of medicine invited here from England by Professor Mikutoba, no less.
Right though. But the English woman just jeered.
She cheered?
No, I said that they jeered.
Her case was to be heard by the British Consulate Court in Shanghai. However, there's little doubt she would simply have been acquitted and sent back to her homeland a free woman.
It was eating the student girl out from the inside. You could see it. I really felt for her. The expression is eating her up. I can't stand here and listen to this tripe. Ray.
Young girl, you stand accused here. You can't just blurt out whenever you feel like it.
No, you can't. Sorry, but I'm in the middle of some very important testimony here. Just keep quiet and listen. But this awful man is making all this up. Susato, please, you have to make them listen.
Who the fuck is Susato? Return to the dock at once, Mombati-san. We are in the middle of a cross-examination.
Your Excellency, please, I implore you. I'm winning! Exactly. He's a filthy, rotten, black-hearted, bigoted, dirty crepe peeping Tom! Whoa! Take it easy there!
You're not wrong.
I'll excuse stabbing, but I thought we established that I was your asexual representation here. Why would I peep on people? I peep-a-poop.
I peep on the truth.
I peep on the truth! And that is all!
What's my other thing?
I have no interest in the peeping on the nether regions. Please, I think the court should hear what the defendant has to say.
Your Excellency, I see no need whatsoever to entertain the accused remarks.
Denied. I will grant the request of the defense.
But why?
Because I
Because
hate...
I fucking said so.
And I hate you.
As such, I believe it would be ill-advised to stifle the defendant's obvious concerns. Also, we are a little early today. I think I'll be able to get a good lunch in. So I might as well. Whilst recognizing that this contravenes his regular protocol, I hereby call the defendant to speak.
Bark!
Bonk!
Thank you so much, Your Excellency!
I don't think I have it anymore.
It was nothing to do with Dr. Wilson. We were discussing the stolen poison.
Hold it.
The stolen poison that killed the victim, you mean? I suspected her of being the one to steal it. I mean, just think about how she killed Dr. Wilson.
That's true. Additionally, Miss Brett certainly had knowledge of the new poison. But surely it would be no easy task to steal a highly secret toxin being developed for the government. Indeed, all visitors to the laboratory are thoroughly searched when they leave. Even if a thief managed to avoid being seen by myself or a colleague, getting the poison out would be very difficult.
That's true. I pestered Professor Meektober until he agreed to show me the poison when I visited this laboratory. But as I left, I was searched from top to tail.
Miss Brett, rather...
Except in her hat. Again.
in her duck.
In the...
In
No, it was a swan.
Swan.
So it was
In
swan.
the bird lady's head. Miss Brett rather bluntly revealed the existence of the toxin we'd been developing, you see. And since Soseki-san expressed such an interest in it, I felt unable to refuse. Obviously, I gave nothing away other than the fact that it was an extremely potent substance.
I'm very ashamed of myself. It's just that I've had a singularly terrible experience with a deadly poison.
You did? When?
I'm not dead! How the fuck did you get out? Why are you in the horse's stall? You know what? Fuck it.
You're a horse now.
I wanted to look my old enemy in the eye. Surely you can understand that.
To find out if my suspicions were true, I confronted Miss Brett about the poison. I told her that if there were to be an incident involving it somehow, it wouldn't just be the university. The military would be dragged into it, the whole government even. It would be a complete disaster.
And how did Miss Brett respond to your concerns?
She just curled those beautiful lips of hers and she kissed my little lips back. She didn't know the first thing about it. In English, actually.
Yes. Minimemo-san. One small question, if you don't mind.
I do mind. Can't you see I'm busy? I'm writing out my alibi.
Clearly you were outside the beach hut listening in whilst the defendant and Miss Brett were conversing. Presumably, then, it was you who wrote this article about what you'd heard. Exclusive. Deadly poison stolen from Yume Medical Research Laboratory. The story was published in this morning's edition of Shoyu News. The details are too accurate for it to have been written by anyone else.
Sorry, don't know what you're talking about. Yes, look at this. The entire article is almost what I said to Miss Brett, word for word. What the fuck? You accusing me of plagiarism? I'm not just a terrible murderer, I'm also a terrible journal. As a journal and as a citizen of a free country, Italy, I don't have to reveal my sources. That's a founding principle of minimalism. See, I wrote down in here in my mini memo. Father's clearly right about this. That reporter did write the article, and he based it on what he overheard from outside the hut. So you can just do that? You can just rewrite evidence because of what you have assumed is the answer? Okay. I mean, I'm not saying that's a wrong thing, but I just didn't think that's how it worked. You were trying to cover up the fact you were listening in. That's why you came up with that stinking story about me arguing with her.
Shut up! My stories never sink. If I'd literally waited like 2 days to publish that story, I would have been in the clear. God, I'm stupid. Look, whatever you say, little girl, doesn't add to the facts. Your Excellency, there's something I want to say, and I want it to go on record.
No. Okay, I guess. You may amend your formal testimony.
Ha! Thank goodness. Let's go.
Oh my god! Stop flying! I want to stab you.
Drive the tank closer. I wish to stab them with my sword. Perhaps you doubted the efficiency of the poison and sought to make sure your victim would die. That's a horse dog. What? That would be like pouring pepper in your Chinese ramen before you'd even tasted it. Completely reckless. Although, it might surprise you to learn that I'm a bit of an impetuous pepper pourer, as it happens. So you did do it, then. Once the victim had taken the poison, she would have been only minutes away from death. And yet this man then proceeded to stab her in the back as well. There has to have been a good reason for that.
If it was the reporter who gave the poison to Miss Brett, then clearly he must have done it prior to Ray entering the hut.
Yes, that's undeniable.
But between him and leaving the hut and the victim being stabbed, there was one very crucial change in the situation.
Sorry? What change?
The reporter overheard the conversation between Ray and the Englishwoman.
Yes, that's it. That's when Mamo-san first found out the exact nature of the poison he'd used. That could be the key here.
If the victim had unwittingly taken the poison already, blah 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 blah, blah blah. Yeah, we already did this. So, I'm willing to bet. So I think it might be this, because current methods cannot detect the chemical. So he wouldn't want he wouldn't want her to die from the poison.
That's people would know of. That people would be able to.
No, that doesn't sound right. Potentially?
Is it the pen?
Yeah, I know we're getting around to the pen, but like specifically this part.
Can I show you something really cute?
Sure.
He's got a little backpack on.
And he's so happy.
He's doing the little happy dance.
He is. He did the same thing when I put the collar on him.
Alright.
Okay, so
I was correct.
Well, I can't think of anything. So here, I'm gonna shove a paper in your face. What? But before I shove this paper in your face, I'd like you to confirm something from the court. Did you glean all the information for this newspaper article from what you overheard outside the hut? comment.
Of course he did. There can be no question of that. After all, when we were in the laboratory together, all we were told it was terrible toxin.
And there's one more important fact to consider. According to the witness, Mbambe-san's verbal attack against the victim began as soon as she entered the hut. In other words, it would have been impossible for her to have slipped the poison into Miss Brett's drink. Where are you going with this, Counsel?
To the truth.
The truth, of course. Menimemo-san has made it quite clear that he observed every single thing that happened in the beach hut. If the defendant had somehow found an opportunity, this man would have seen it. Which means that Miss Brett couldn't have imbibed the poison whilst the defendant was present. In fact, it must have been administered to her before Mbambe-san entered the hut.
Yes, that makes sense.
When I walked into the hut, I immediately started to press Miss Brett about the poison. At which point, Menimemo-san overheard some worrying information. Worrying information? What worrying information? The information which he subsequently included in his newspaper article, namely, that the poison for Cusco was being developed in strict secrecy, and that it couldn't be readily obtained.
Absolutely. In fact, that's quite an understatement. The only possible place it could have come from is my lab.
And furthermore, anyone afflicted by the poison would exhibit telltale signs in death. The extreme constriction of the pupils. Yes, it's quite stark when you see it. There are other poisons that show similar symptoms, but not among new substances that are undetectable. In other words, it would be clear that the victim's life had been ended by the use of this particular poison, which still would have pointed to Ray, by the way. So, that would reduce the number of suspects to only a handful of people, including Ray.
Except she came in and was arguing with her right away.
True, but again, he didn't have any reason to, reveal himself. He's done so much to implicate himself, such as the picture being delivered to the judiciary office, the article that he wrote and published before the courtroom case even occurred. He didn't even have to stick around. He could have just fucking left.
He could have. But he didn't, because he's an idiot.
You're right.
And we need someone else.
He's a fucking moron. Everyone in my laboratory is aware of the unique properties of the toxin we've been developing. None of them would be foolish enough to attempt to use it for some nefarious deed. Mbambe-san being no exception.
Therefore, we can conclude that whoever administered this unique poison to the victim was a layperson, a moron, unaware of its telltale properties. In other words, someone like you, write in my memo. It was you who stole the poison from the laboratory that day, and it was you who administered it to the unwitting victim. But you quickly realized that was a terrible mistake. Because the poison caused such unusual symptoms and was so traceable. As you listened in from the far side of the beach hut's thin walls, you learnt of these facts. But you'd already given the victim the poison at that point. It was too late. So you had to plan to disguise your mistake. With a knife! The knife was a knife, and the key was the key to the knife. In fact, the knife was also a key that would unlock the knife. And also the safe. And the safe itself was a knife. And within that safe was a key that was used to stab the victim in the back through the reed screen. That's ridiculous! What good could that possibly do? I don't know. Let's go play Ace Attorney Investigations 1, and we'll find out.
and we'll have an hour-long conversation about keys and knives being the same thing, and being in a safe that has 2 keyholes, and one of them is unlocked with a key, the other is unlocked with a knife, and both the knife and the key are the same thing. I wish I were kidding.
Wait, seriously?
God damn it, I hate fucking Ace Attorney Investigations 1. I'm not even kidding. Yes, that's actually something that happens.